Welcome everyone, I'm the Depressed Viewer, and this is Langrisser Mobile Apex Season 16. So a little bit about this week. It's the new season. There was at one point I looked at the little time with when the next matches started, and I was like, alright, it's coming up. And then I just flat out forgot it existed. I didn't even notice any of this until Friday night, I think it was. I glanced at the Discord of Langrisser, the Langrisser Discord, and there was like a little thing that's like, hey, here's the new skin for the next season. And I was like, oh. And then I looked and I was like, oh, I actually need to do all of this. And I've been a bit busy. Obviously, holidays has been a thing. I've been working on tabletop RPG stuff as a DM, and juggling a few other games and Let's Plays. And then also I started playing Baldur's Gate 3, so that also ate up a lot more of my time. So, now this battle was one I was actually trying to rush through. I was actually, it was around the time that I was supposed to be running Sword World for my RPG group, and fortunately a lot of people said they couldn't make it, but as long as 2 people showed up I was going to run it. Excuse me. And then as I was sitting waiting and assuming no one else was going to come, I was playing with a friend doing Final Fantasy 14 stuff, and I was like, alright, you know what? I mean, I'm going to need to, do my placement matches, so I'm just going to knock this out. And the moment I started this match, the other person showed up, so I was like trying to get through this quickly so I can actually start, playing Sword World. So, as for this battle, this box was honestly, I don't even know how to describe it. There's 3 tanks, 1 healer. Yeah, 3 tanks, 1 healer. So if I wanted to, I could have banned a healer like right off the bat. We got SP Bernhardt here. I think that's his name. It's been a while. We got Cortez, which I rarely see. We never see freaking who's this character? Patsier, which my box doesn't have any male characters, so she's not going to be able to do as much as she would hope. We got Lena, who is one of the recently released characters. Another character that was obviously released is the new, I guess, rare character. I don't even know the term, but Apotheosis. Apotheosis is a bit concerning because he has a lot of weird mechanics where he can change you to demon class and all that junk. But with this box, it has a little bit of everything. Some single targets, some assassins, some AoE, and I went and immediately got rid of the Awakened one. I was a little concerned about Lena, but since I tend to use Christiane more often now, it's not as big of a deal. Also, another big difference is they expanded the inscription enchants. They added 5 more levels that use their own special mats for. Thankfully, you do not need to actually pay money for them. That was a concern that many people had, because apparently that's the case on the other server. But it does take a lot of time, it takes a lot of time to get people through to max them out. I have Sylvaria maxed out. As of this battle, I was working on Christiane, but I didn't have her maxed out just yet. I could have probably maxed her out because of all the stuff from the recent Almeida event, but I was kind of, just like I said, I was kind of rushing and just trying to get things done, so I didn't even think about it. In any case, I get rid of the Awakened one. And I'm just trying to think of anything else. Oh yeah, there's an exclusive. There was exclusives for Auden Kelmo and Lightbringer, so I have those as well. So they go ahead and get rid of Frozen Seal, which is not too surprising. There's a lot of debuff potential here. They go ahead and open with Sword and Light Shadow, and then I go ahead and ban the tank that can negate crits, and also get rid of Grinshield. So I was hoping to see if I can make my opponent to pick a tank. I go ahead and grab Christiane, because obviously there's a lot of magic damage here. They go ahead and get rid of my Liana, get rid of my Kayura. They grab their Christiane. Their Christiane is, of course, is actually Cavalry, which is actually kind of dangerous for my Christiane since I'm infantry. At this point, I go ahead and get rid of their remaining assassins. So at this point, they don't have any way of guard bypassing. Patsier can guard bypass, but only against male opponents. I go ahead and grab Sissy White, and then they go ahead and ban some of my assassins, including Sylvaria there. Grabs Lena, of all people. I don't even know what factions Lena is. I think she's protagonist in Time, but I don't know what else. I go ahead and get rid of Bernhardt. I don't really know too much about Bernhardt. or at least SP Bernhardt. I don't really know. Yeah, I know he has like a move again now, and beyond that, I don't really know. Obviously, Jintoki's always a pain, so I'll go ahead and get rid of him. At this point, I go ahead and grab Grinshield, which gives me pretty good faction coverage. I go ahead and lose Illustrial, which isn't too big of a deal on this map. I lose Pyrotest, which is fine because I couldn't really buff her reliably anyway. And they go ahead and grab Rosenseal. Like you guys already know, I'm kind of okay with my opponent taking Rosenseal. It means one less DPS I have to worry about. And more often than not, I don't need to really worry about her heals that much, and I don't rely on debuffs. I mean, they're nice when they happen, but I don't require them. So at this point, I go ahead and get rid of Cortez, get rid of Bozel, and that leaves my opponent with just either taking a second tank or taking Patseer, and Patseer's not going to be able to do anything to me. I go ahead and grab Connie here. Connie can guard bypass using the help of Joa. So my hope is to either take off the first life off of Sword and Light and Shadow, that way she can't first strike and becomes weaker, or to take out Lena. Doing either of those things is essentially enough for me to possibly hold on to hold on in a tank push. So at this point, I go ahead and lose Tiaras, lose Autumn Kelmo. I go ahead and grab Lightbringer. So my choices are Narm or Lightbringer, and I go ahead and grab Lightbringer. So we're going double tank versus double tank here. Her healer is probably better than mine. Sissy White is not the best healer as far as actual healing is concerned. But we have a lot of things going for us right now. One of those things is Lena is a mage and does not have actually any faction buffs. We do have Lightbringer here who can provide strengthen. Beyond that, though, Lena is kind of... I don't know how many stars she is, but there's only a... I think she's 5 stars, maybe? Because I think it's supposed to be 50% chance of getting Wrath. So she isn't fully fledged. She does have Dragon Slave, which is her big signature AoE. It's really long range and does quite a pretty good damage, and it also sets up runes everywhere. She also, of course, got Arcane Blast, which is good against casters, and of course Black Hole. Rosenseal all heals, has Shrine Maidens, is mage class, so she is mixed, but I don't have anyone here with Twilight Star. Sword and Light Shadow did bring AoE with Edge Drop Slash. Lightbringer here did bring Strengthen for some support. Also has Guardian Infantry, and then Christian did bring Fang Guards. I'm a little confused about how Fang Guards work, because it says when entering battle with a melee attack, does it mean I have to be the one that engages? Because if not, the reflected damage is actually kind of nice. Beyond that, standard kit. As for over here, I have Christian here with Phalanx's standard kit. We got Joa and Connie. Connie does have her exclusive helmet. That will make it so she can guard bypass using Joa's channel interference. I did go with Fairy Spirit Prophets, mainly just because it's just easy. It's just reliable, and it kind of just does magic damage as well, which is always nice. But besides that, her long-range shot, roundabout with Pulse Blast. Garden Shield, War Falcons, Air Slash, 3C, Cold Shield, Lightbringer here. I did usual kit with Light Flow, Phalanxes. And then Sissy White, I did bring Mass Heal, just so I can possibly endure any AoEs coming my way. I'm not too worried about it. I have Christian here to negate magic damage, and Lightbringer I think also can negate some damage with her aura as well. So, pretty good shape here. In any case, I'm going to be moving up. The biggest concern is whether or not I can survive a hit from Sword and Light and Shadow, because I don't have a way of preventing the resurrection negation. So if she can one-shot one of my tanks, that will really set me back. Lightbringer is definitely a lot better at surviving a hit, simply because she can soak all the cleanses from the Sword Souls and things like that. So yeah, I go ahead and get channel interference up and running, and I go ahead and start moving up. Alright, Dragon Slave. So, she's not in Wrath mode right now, so this will not put up any terrain or anything like that. It just does some damage. In fact, it doesn't even do any debuffs. She's in Wrath mode now, but it's a bit late. So I go ahead and just do Mass Heal to kind of undo the damage. And my opponent decides to do Floral Regalia. So at this point I was like, okay. I don't want you to AoE me again, so I'm just going to kill you. So both sides do have full range, but my shots are faster. So I go ahead and take out Lina. So now all I have to worry about is Sword and Light Shadow here. So the only thing I'm a little concerned about right now, because I don't really have initiative right now, is Sword and Light Shadow. If Sword and Light Shadow passes turn, she will do enough AoE damage to Joa to reveal him. In which case, if he dies, then there's not much I can do about it. So I went ahead and do it. I went ahead and did the act again. This does set Joa and Connie back a little bit because this gobbled up all of her faction buff. Which, by the way, the faction buff did get refreshed because I did kill somebody with a strategic faction. But I wanted to deter this attack here. Also, one thing to note about the Sword and Light Shadow here, she has that helmet that actually has a 50% chance to do a one-turn silence on a random enemy within 3 blocks. So that's what happened with Joa here. So I go ahead and do Pulse Blast. This is mainly just to get rid of some buffs. It also did really good damage against Sword and Light Shadow there. I was actually really surprised. So I felt like I had a pretty good grasp that I might be able to handle this. The bad part is that 30% buff that I got from the act again from Sissy White did only last 1 turn, so I kind of gobbled up all my faction buff there. But even without the faction buff, I still have higher attack than Sword and Light Shadow, which, I mean, Sword and Light Shadow doesn't have an attack buff either. Also, something to note is at this point I'm past the middle. The middle being those 2 towers there, so as long as I can kind of hold the line here, I'll be okay. So I go ahead and try to do some damage here. She did have Shrine Maiden, she was at full HP. I wasn't really expecting anything too significant, but it was a free hit and I had Roundabout again, so. So yeah, I'm just kind of throwing out some damage, testing the tanks. Another mass heal. So yeah, not too much going on here at this point. I'm just kind of... I'm ahead in damage, just purely because I've just been wailing away at my opponent. The issue is going to come in whether or not my tanks can survive long enough. Joe is up front, but I do have Christian guarding. I do get hit with Edge Drop Slash here, which can prevent act agains and do some other nasty things. Also got silenced by that helmet again. Alright, I do get a Lancer set up. Obviously the Lancer can die very easily, but I'm not that concerned about it. Alright, getting my faction buff. So unfortunately Grinshield can't voluntarily refresh her faction buff. It has to be done with a kill from a strategic faction. But she is Princess faction, so she does get buffed by Christian. So this attack here kind of threw me off, because like I said, I was kind of rushing, trying to get ready for other things. And I ended up, nearly killing Risen Seal here. I did get rid of all my Effulgent stacks, so I do have this all stats increase thing active. Also, I always attack first, I think. Yeah, I attack before the enemy and I do increase damage. So at this point I was like, oh, well, you're out of guard range, so I could probably kill you. Now, what I mess up here is I decided to stay where I was at, and I shouldn't have. Because that attack that Rosensteel did actually applied movement down, so it actually negated Christian's guard. But it wasn't really the end of the world. It was annoying because that pretty much guarantees I can't get any more guard bypasses. They have 2 tanks, so there's no way I'm going to do it with throwing my shield. But at this point, I have controlled the center. So it's just really a matter of whether or not I can endure what's coming. Now the good news is since I did heal, so I did get rid of the debuff. So I do get hit here. I can't res here because of that debuff from the 3C, but it's not quite enough. Pretty glad I did up her defenses through those inscription enchants. So infantry and cav. Go ahead and get my faction buff back up. Alright, sword infantry versus my spear infantry. Magic damage versus my, Lightbringer's extremely high magic defense. So for the most part, we're okay. And I'm just, just throwing out more damage. My opponent is catching up on damage. The AoE definitely got her caught up quite a bit, or got my opponent caught up very quickly. But the mist is closing in. So I'm kind of just trying to endure here. Still not getting killed. So we do have that going for us. So I go ahead and opt for a mass heal. I'm kind of just trying to block things. So I do get first strike here. And yeah, with a regular attack, there's just no way she's going to get killed. And then my opponent gives up at this point, because yeah, at this point the mist will close in. And they kind of already used all their special attacks, so all I had to do was just kind of wait it out, and eventually the mist will close in. It would still take an extra round because all 3 of them can self-res. But overall, very crazy fight, a lot of healing, look at all that. Why is there no data from me? That is weird, why is there no data for me? I think that's a bug. Oh well. In any case, this was kind of refreshing. Like I said, I was rushing, but also getting a win for this week just means I don't have to worry about any of it. I was very tempted to kind of just brush away my placement matches and just kind of start from scratch. But I do actually make an effort on pretty much all of my matches, so hopefully you'll be able to see some of them that are actually worthwhile. So, I am the Depressed Dior. This was Langrisser Mobile Apex Season 16. I'll see you guys later.